Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I haven't been consistent in posting, but lately I've been getting some signs to post another one. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience in exchange semester as an IE student. So I'm a full-time IE student who went for exchange, and I just came back to Madrid for it from my exchange. And I wanted to talk a little about the process and how it went for me, and then the actual time there, and the factors that influenced my decision, and why exchange is one of the best choices you could ever make.
That's one small step for man.
First of all, I just want to talk about how crazy it has been coming back, because this week alone, I have been getting noticed by certain people about how they've seen me on YouTube and that I've helped them make the decision to come to IE. I've had some exchange kids and some first years who found me at a wine bar and was like, "It's her." And I was like, it's crazy to me because it's like, it was one video that just has helped many people. And I'm really glad I made that video, and that I can always be someone who I needed when I was choosing to go to uni here. So I'm glad to hear that it has helped. And I love when people come up to me and tell me that they've watched my video, and keep doing that. If you ever see me around, just say hi or whatever. I'm super open to talking to people and getting to know other people. And I wanted to make this video because when I was choosing my exchange, I was in a lot of dilemmas. There was a lot of logistics going on that has really taken a lot of time and effort and thinking to do. And I want to talk about my exchange experience because it was amazing and I loved it. So keep in mind that I am a full-time IE student. So it's not that I'm going to IE for exchange, but it's that as an IE student, what was my experience in exchange? First of all, if you're new here, I am Japanese Romanian who grew up in Singapore, and I am currently a fourth year in IE University in Madrid, Spain. I've been studying from Madrid from the first year, and I graduate next year in 2026, and it's a 5-year course. And I started doing some videos on my opinion in IE and my day in my lives, which you can see my page and check out other videos and subscribe if you'd like. And let me know if this is really helpful for you, and let me know what you would like to see more of. But to those who are interested in going to exchange for IE, I will also be talking about some of the experiences that I've heard from exchange students. I've actually reached out to a lot of them this semester since coming back because I wanted to hear their experience. So stay tuned to learn about whether you should go to IE for exchange or not. And to be honest, I might do a video with an exchange student. I have a video with my roommate in Paris of our experience. She's a transfer. Guys, there will be another video coming up on whether you should transfer to IE because my roommate in Paris is an IE student, and we made a video actually, but I just never edited it. So stay tuned. I will post that one actually now that I am back, I promise. So first I'm going to talk about how the exchange system works for application. So the IE exchange system is based on grade allocation, so the GPA allocation, which means, and I wish someone told me sooner, keep up your GPA. I mean, I don't have a horrible GPA or anything. Honestly, okay, I have an 8 out of 10. And it's not bad, but because my exchange semester was on my first term of fourth year, and that's the exchange for a lot of the other degrees as well. So not only are you competing with like your degree, but like tons of other degrees for that slot in exchange. And keep in mind, many of the great universities that you have, first of all, it depends on the degree you have and like whether the partnered universities have that degree for you. And two, many of the really good ones probably only have like 5 slots, 6 slots from IE. And can you imagine, for example, like UMiami, probably like 800 applicants, for example, I don't know. But let's say you get 800 applicants and there's like 5 spots, and if it's by grade allocation, there's going to be quite a few people who's going to have 10 out of 10 probably, or like 9.5, 9.6 out of 10 for GPA. So that's one thing. If you're very keen on going to a very good university for exchange, and if that's important to you, just remember that GPA matters for your allocation. This is also something else to say, is that as a dual degree, I only had 1 exchange. I know BBA kids have 2. I don't know about other degrees. I think they all have 1 as well. I'm not sure about whether there's another degree that allows 2 or offers 2 exchanges. I do wish we had 2 exchanges. I thought when I first signed up for BBA and law, I thought we would have 2 exchanges because we're 5 years. I thought wrong. Anyways, then the next point that I wanted to preface is I spent a lot of time thinking whether I wanted to go on exchange or internship or stay in Madrid and have electives. And to be honest, while I was thinking about this, the exchange semester enrollment period was going on, and I applied anyways before I made a decision. I applied to go for exchange, whatever. And you have like rounds of exchange applications, so you can choose like 5 universities in the first round, and then if you don't get any of them, you get a second round, and if you don't get any of them, it's a third round, etc. And I'll talk about what I got later on. But when I was making the decision first, I was very torn because we all know having an internship for this 6-month period would have been really, really good on my CV. And that's what a lot of people decided to do. And it's obviously a great experience too. And to have that 6-month cycle is very beneficial. And also in Singapore, it's more common for people to do off-cycle internships rather than summer. And so like whenever I look on LinkedIn, for example, I see a lot more opportunities for off-cycle internships in Singapore, which kind of made me realize, oh, this is my chance to have this. Then the other option was electives, and this was mainly because I was so exhausted of moving. And by moving, I mean just moving everything. I mean, I don't want to move out of my house anymore. I want to keep this house until I can, and having to find another visa, dealing with the logistics, dealing with another house hunt. I was like, do I really want to do that again? Because I was so settled and I was so comfortable in my little home, in my little routine. But I knew that was like a very minimal option. So that was like, I'm not someone who likes to stay in my comfort zone. I love to go out, meet new people. I love to push myself. And I don't think being in the same place would ever make me grow as a person. And for me, it's very valuable to always find the opportunity to network and find the opportunity to meet people who will teach me new things about life and everything. And so that was a very slight option. But the other thing I had to think about is like, okay, what am I going to do with my room? I'm still in the same house as before, but it's like I had to think about subletting. I had to think about all these logistics, and it was just stressing me out. And I was like during my finals, and I was like, oh, do I really want to go through it? I don't know. Anyways, so I thought about that, and I realized eventually as I was doing the process, I was kind of taking the internship out of my option as well, because like I'm gonna be working for the rest of my life, and I feel like an exchange semester is something you can only do in a bachelor, and I don't want to miss this opportunity. I can always have an internship, I can always work, but you can't be on exchange in a 9 to 5, like that just makes no sense. So that happened, and then came the actual decision process. So this goes on to my next point, which is my exchange degree and school, how I chose my selections between all the universities offered, and then the final choice, and from then on, the logistics that came with it. So first of all, how I chose my selection. So I did my first round, and they give you a form of like all the partner universities and tell you whether you're eligible with your degree, blah, blah. I really wanted to go to America. I wanted to go to the United States. Something calls me there, like the opportunities there, and just, I've never really experienced it, and I see it all the time. I mean, I think American school culture is widely on the internet, and I want to experience a frat party. Like, why not? I don't know. Like that's something that you'll never find outside of America. So I was like, see how that goes. And so I applied to U Miami first, and then U Miami of Law second, because I wanted to go to U Miami. And then I put USC, and then Northeastern University, if I'm not wrong, or Northwestern, I can't remember. And there was one more in the US, which I low-key don't remember. But I did all of those, and I didn't get any of them, which I was so upset about. I was super upset. I was so pissed. I was like, I literally have an 8 out of 10. Surely not. Like, and I felt like an 8 out of 10 is bad. Like, it's an 80%. Is that bad? Guys, I don't think that's bad. It's not bad, right? It's good. It's good. I mean, I do a lot on the side, I'm not trying to get a 10 out of 10. Like, I don't think studying is, like, the purpose of my life at all. But I'm doing well, So I was bummed. I was butthurt. Whatever. It is. Everything happens for a reason, so. Then I had my second round, and okay, this was when the intensive research came in, because I already knew back then, like, what to put, but then that, like, my life path just changed out of, like, my own plan. So I was like, okay, well, we gotta yellow this now. So what happened was they give us, like, the schools, right? And you have to find their, like, exchange syllabus and everything. So I went through every possible place. So first of all, it's the environment. First of all, the country, like, where do I want to go? And I looked at all the possible options for round 2. And I looked at vlogs of what it's like to live there. I had quite a few options, and one was, like, Copenhagen. I put that. I put SDSU, as in San Diego. I asked my friends in California about, like, SDSU, their experience, what it could be like. And in Copenhagen, I watched a lot of vlogs, and for all of these, I looked at the syllabus and saw what I could potentially study there, and how exams work, because, again, I don't want to drown myself in work in my exchange year, like, that's not the purpose. And, like, for example, I was considering Stockholm, and for law, and I think that was Stockholm University, if I'm not wrong, but everybody was like, well, not everybody, but I think online they were saying, like, oh, like, you actually do so much work for your final, and I was like, not really, it's not worth it. I've been to Stockholm, I know the place, it's nice to visit, but, like, am I dying to go there and write, like, a 4,000-page essay, like, every 2 weeks? No, like, I didn't want to do that. So I was like, okay, I asked every person I know to help me with my decision. And I don't mean, like, oh, should I go here, should I go there? No, like, I wanted to know people's experience in the country. And then Paris was an option. So I had a French friend, a mutual friend, who helped me tell me a little bit about, like, what it's really like comparing to Madrid and all this. And for me, it was more about ranking, because let's say I put SDSU first, that's my first rank. So if I get in, like, that's where you're gonna go, Ranking it was difficult. I was thinking of putting Japan. But Japan was too, like, I know what Japan is like, I'm half Japanese. I've lived there. I go there often. And I was like, but I want to, I don't know. But it could be different, I haven't lived there for so long. So I had that. And so I eventually put SDSU, Copenhagen, Paris, and I forgot the other 2. And I got Paris, which was my third choice. First of all, I was so bummed out because I really wanted SDSU, because my best friend lives very close, and we were already planning out, like, oh my god, to do, like, beach road trips. Down the drain. Ideas down the drain. Anyways, I chose Paris because it was close. That was another thing. Because I'm on student visa here, it meant I had to go through, like, the whole renewal process, right? And what I liked about Paris is that it was near. And I kept my house. It meant, like, okay, like, again, because I was still unsure whether to take the exchange or not. But at this point, if I get accepted, like, I have to take it, right? So I accepted Paris because it was, like, okay, it's close to Madrid. If I really don't like it, I can always come back to Madrid. Renewal process is easy because if any case, like, let's say I need to go back for an appointment, it's a 2-hour flight. Like, it's not going to cost me that much or whatever. So I ended up taking Paris. Best decision of my life. And so once I accepted Paris, I had to also apply through their platform, but that was easy. Like, I got accepted, and that was it. And then I heard from them in the summer, and so this was all, like, the last term of third year, and I heard from my Paris uni, which I went to ESEG, and They told me about enrollment for electives, blah, blah. So as a dual degree student, I have the option to take a master's in my exchange through with ESEG, which I was like, that's so cool, because it's not that I get a full degree, but it's like I get a certificate of master's after this for a 4-month course. Like, that was insane. And I was looking at all the electives and everything, and I had to enroll, blah blah. And then I get this email from this woman who works there, and she's like, she's a director of like this new degree called Masters in Entrepreneurship. And she was like, this is new, like if you want to join, you can, you're eligible as an exchange student. And if you join this one, you don't have to enroll in like other electives, everything is automatic, blah blah. 30 credits is my minimum, and that was how much they were giving me. And I was like, entrepreneurship, 100%, I love entrepreneurship. B, no final exams. Yeah, okay. C, I was doing an internship in Singapore at that time, so I was very, very busy. And I was like, okay, like I don't really want to take my time to go through the electives and decide again and all this stuff. And I was like, automatic enrollment, go for it. I chose the master because, again, I like to push myself. I don't want to do things, I don't want to take the easy way out. But also, I know I could do this. And like, we did have final exams, but they were very much like quiz related. Like, it's nothing compared to like IE final exams. I chose the master's also because I wanted to surround myself with older people. I do feel like, and have been told multiple times, like I am mature for my age, all this stuff. And I want to expand my circle and expand new learnings and learn from people who are older than me. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not that bachelors aren't mature either, but it's just more like, I felt like a lot of the exchange bachelors who would go in would treat it as like just a party point of that's just a party time, and I didn't want to do that. And I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool just to be around older people too. So I ended up taking the Master of Entrepreneurships for 30 credits and get a certificate in that as my exchange. Now moving on to my actual experience in Paris. First of all, the visa, I had to settle that while I was in Singapore, which was a little frustrating because it was difficult, but at least it was in Singapore, and it's easier, like things are a little more efficient there, so it was easier to contact, blah blah. And I managed to get the visa quickly. I got it within 2 weeks, I think. For housing situation, that was rough. I was kind of like, I have to start looking into it. There's a lot of requirements legally that like I was so confused about. I was thinking of getting student residence, but all of them were in like a bad area that was available, and I was like, I don't want to live in a bad area in Paris. I've been there once for 3 days, and like I don't know much about it, and everybody was telling me, like I reached out, asked my Parisian friends like where to go, where to stay, and all the areas that they pointed out was like great, but when I looked at certain websites, it was just so expensive or super difficult to get, or like I would call them and I would have to call them Singapore nighttime and like call them through my, like change my SIM card so I don't get charged on my Singapore number, all this stuff. And they'll be like, oh, but you're not a French taxpayer, so we can't give you the house. I'm like, what kind of rule is that? But whatever, it's common in Europe. This happens a lot, where there's just issues with housing. And I was looking at areas in the 16th district. Did I look in it? Maybe 7, 1st, and 9. Where was 9th? I think 9th. I think so. So I was looking at those. I was kind of starting to freak out. And we did have a little group chat for like exchange students going to Paris. One of my friends, her name is Elena, she was telling me she's also going to Paris, but she was going to Sciences Po, another uni in Paris. Eventually, she found a house for 2 people, and it was through like an agent who works with Mexicans and those who are going to Paris. And she was like, do you want to live with me? And I was like, yeah. Like, we were both already talking about living together. So it was amazing when this was found. It was in the 14th. And 14th is like a little below the 6th. Oh, the 6th is where I was looking, not the 7th. But it's below the 6th, and it was a great area. And I was like, sure, why not, if it's safe, you know? Best decision. Love the area. My little neighborhood was so residential, and it was near Gete, which, if you know the place, like, you're lucky, because what a legendary place, honestly. That was settled, and once that was settled, I was a little set. And then I moved to Paris for orientation week. First, I stayed in a hotel in the first week because it was the end of August and our lease started in September. For orientation, it was a little messy from my school. Like, they were very disorganized. But because my degree was super small, We had like maybe 12, 16 people in our class. I don't remember. But like we found each other through like the Exchange International Club that like they promoted through emails and through Instagram and everything that we joined a group chat for. And we're like, hey, if you're in the MENT program, which is my master's in entrepreneurship, like please send me a text and whatever. One of my best friends from Paris, like I reached out to her first when she sent that message in the group chat. I was like, hey, like let's meet. I'm in your master's, blah blah. And when I met those girls, they were like, they all also met on that thing. They were like, hey, like we're going for dinner at Giraffe on Sunday, you want to come? And I was like, yeah, like okay, cute, exciting, you know, all this stuff. And they were cute. And so the first 3 girls I met were also like my close friends from Paris. Like I love them. The freshers week, you know, there were lots of events on the first week. It was difficult because like I didn't really have people to go with in the beginning because none of the people from IE that I knew were like going to YesEgg. I had to force myself to like reach out to the girls I just met as well. Like I was really nervous because they're like 23 and I'm like, I'm 21, you know, like I felt so shy. I was so intimidated in the beginning. So I reached out. I was like, hey girl, like, are you going out? Blah, blah. You know, I ended up seeing them. We went out together and that like the club we went out to was so bad. Like the event that they threw was so bad. So we're like, okay, let's not do this anymore. So we ended up not doing that. But we got super close, me and the girls, and they're 2 really close friends of mine as well. Yeah, and that's how my freshers week went, and then we started school. Now, in terms of nightlife and in Paris and how my experience in this program changed it, basically, nightlife in Paris is obviously insane. I mean, especially during Fashion Week, to which my dumbass didn't go out and missed out on seeing Travis Scott, Central C, Ice Spice, Cardi B in this club, okay? I'm a big fan of Travis Scott and Central C. And the fact that they were in that club that I usually go to, but that night I decided that I didn't want to go. I was pissed. Anyways, I felt like being in the Masters and being around the girls that I was with. So these girls, like, they're older, they've gone through like their clubbing stages or whatever. It was nice because what I realized from early on with them is they didn't want to go out too late. Like they were home by 11, 10 sometimes, like, and it was this shift that I was adjusting to because also they were the people I was going out with a lot more. Like if I was out, right, like I was spending 24/7 with them, and like I don't want to have dinner with anyone else but them. And so having said that, I realized first of all how easily influenced I am from the environment I am in. And this is like to anyone, like your environment really influences you, okay? We all know this. I knew this from the start, but I think it's also what made me want to choose masters, knowing that I'm with older people and knowing that like putting myself in a position where I will act more like the person I want to become. And don't get me wrong, like I love having fun. When I go out hard. Like, you know, it's like go big or go home. But there was a big part of me where I wanted to change that. And I found it difficult because the environment I was in made it hard to change that. And I felt like Paris was the point where I could change that. And especially with the girls that I was with, they held me accountable for my drinking and for my sleep and everything, you know? Like it was good for me. And I was very much more in moderation. I did go out here and there. I went out with other friends that I had there. But at some point I was just kind of like, well, I didn't want to do it too much the way I used to in Madrid, and it was really, really good. And I think culinary in Paris, the people were really nice, everybody. When I tell you it's all about the attitude that you give to them, I think Parisians are very sensitive to energy, and if you give them a very rude attitude, they'll be rude back, and that's just so simple as that. Getting by was fine. I felt safe because, like, I mean, you just have to be careful and be wary of where you are and be aware of your surroundings and like don't be street dumb. And I felt fine. The Eiffel Tower was beautiful every single time I looked at it. I don't care what anyone says. Every time it sparkled, I fell in love with it. It is a city of love. I didn't find love. I mean, I wasn't looking for love, so I'm chilling. But it was a really great experience. I learned a little bit of French, but not enough where I can have a conversation. It was just like, you know, getting by. I could order food, I could do this. And I was like, you know, I also did realize that like back in high school, my dream was to live in Paris. And the fact that it happened without planning, you know, I was dying to go to the US for exchange. And look what happened now. I was in Paris and it really changed my perspective because now I want to move back there. So that changed my whole life course. That was not part of my plan at all. There was no plan for me to go back to Paris. I also found a great routine in working out there. They had berries, the Pilates studio I went to, oh, obsessed. And the fact that they had like collagen supplement coffees just made it better. Me and my friends, we tried every new restaurant we could. Amazing culinary experience in France is amazing. My mom came to visit. She loved it. I miss it so bad, so much. And this has been the best decision of my life. So that goes on to my last point, which is going back to IE, whether you should go to IE as an exchange. When I was going back, I took part in volunteering as like an IE buddy system for the exchange students of this semester, and I have 3 buddies right now. I reached out to them and I've met one of them actually. And then I've also realized a lot about how like there's a lot of exchange students in my classes, but like because IE classes are very like much like we've all known each other, like the full-time students, for 4 years now. Yeah? And so when exchange students come, they realize quickly like it's really hard to like mingle with everybody because people are shy. We all know each other, so it's hard to like kind of go into a new group, right? And I get that, and it's really difficult. But like as exchange students, I think they find each other closer and better than the classes itself. And I felt really bad, and I talked to a lot of the exchange kids in my class too, and they told me like, well, it's nice that you're talking to me because the other people don't do that. And I was like, I know, like I've been there too. Like my first 3 years, I would have never reached out to an exchange student and like talked to them because like I'm shy too. They've all loved Madrid so far. Doing exchange in IE is great for the city, I think, and just be wary that like in classes it could be hard, but you're gonna find your friends in the exchange groups. Apparently there's a group chat with like 500 people, so you'll find your people. But no worries, you're gonna have fun. I think IE is also really helpful when it comes to like visa and figuring out your stay. That's something I really appreciate about IE. They helped me out a lot for my first year and they still do till this day. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope this video was helpful. I would love to hear more about what you would like to see. I promise to be more consistent. It has been a busy semester already and I'm only in the first month. So comment down below what questions you might have, what you would like to see more of. I will be posting the video of me and my roommate in Paris talking about transfer students. Go check out my other videos. Go and subscribe. Like this video if it was helpful or if you liked it at all. And please, if you ever see me, don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to talk. I always appreciate anybody who has found my videos really helpful. It's kind of the reason why I still continue doing it, even though it's not as like often, but I just hope it still helps at some point. That's it for today. Have a lovely week to everyone watching this, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
That's one small step for man,